May God grant you success in kidnapping President Buhari, ELRUFAI, and GARBA SHEHU. Flog them well in the bush. Islamic preacher prays for terrorists. A popular Islamic preacher based in Sokoto State, Sheikh Bello Yabo, has prayed that terrorists who threaten to kidnap President Muhammadu Buhari, Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, and the senior special assistant to the President Buhari on media and publicity, Malam GARBA SHEHU, should be successful in their mission. Sahara reporters said that the cleric Yabo, who said the prayer while reacting to Shehu's comment on terrorist threat, however, appealed to kidnappers to release the innocent victims in their custody. He insisted the terrorists are free to kidnap Nigerian top leaders. Sahara reporters earlier reported how terrorists who abducted passengers of a Kaduna-bound train on March 28, 2022 in a viral video threatened to kidnap President Buhari, El-Rufai, and some lawmakers if they did not comply with their demands. But Shehu, while reacting to this threat, has said that the terrorist activity, using propaganda and the use of violence to force governments to accept or submit to political demands is not new all over the world. In response to Shehu's statement, the Islamic cleric berated him, Shehu, for simply describing the threat as propaganda. The cleric accused Shehu of being insensitive to the unfortunate plight of kidnapped victims. According to a report by Daily Nigerian, Yabo prayed for Shehu to fall into the hands of kidnappers. I pray they kidnap you, GARBA SHEHU, and demonstrate as propaganda. We are praying for you, kidnappers. May God grant you success in carrying out your threats to kidnap those people. But please release the innocent people in captivity. If these were the kind of people you have been abducting all this while, we wouldn't have bothered ourselves. We would instead pray and bless you because they have become a disaster to us. These are people who promised heaven and earth, and now they have the opportunity but became incompetent. Take them to the bush and flog them instead of humiliating innocent citizens who are striving to make ends meet. And please make good your threat. We will support you with prayers. As much as on first impressions, you are, prompted to laugh. Fact is, a statement like this should not be said out there. And if anything, realistically, it's not going to happen. I mean, if it does happen, that would be crazy. But with rumors and with alleged narratives of the government being in some ways sponsors or related or in a way condoning and enabling these terrorists, it is unlikely that these people will go against who they're working for. But you never really know at the end of the day. So yeah, you can't compare the security and the protection that they have to an innocent citizen. And I think from how the terrorists would view it for whatever they want to gain, they probably would think that, oh wow, you know what, let's attack their people. It seems that maybe these politicians and the ones in government actually care for their people. And to them, they will be surprised to see how unresponsive and in fact, amiable and negotiable the government is to let them go scot-free, first of all. Secondly, negotiate and give them compensation or even try to rehabilitate them into society. So now, it may even come as a shock to these terrorists because they're thinking, you know what, maybe, the politicians would value their people. So if we attack the people, then we will get what we want from the government. And instead, the opposite has been the case. So it's very funny. But that being said, I don't even think it's appropriate for is the cleric. Yes, you may find it funny. I do find it a little bit amusing. But saying and promoting that they do kidnap, the terrorists actually kidnap the president of ELRUFAI and GARBA SHEHU is, you can say that, okay, fine, no, the privilege is really here, because again, if it was a Christian cleric that said that, oh my days, I mean, it would be flipped upside down and then it would be related to Peter Obi and they'll say, you see what we're saying? So it would be a thing where it's like, okay, fine, this man has said this, which is a very careless and reckless statement, but in a country like Nigeria, whereby, argue what you want, But the privilege that this man really does have is the fact that he will not be held accountable, and it will just be news that will just pass, and he just said it, and that's what he said, and it will be left as that is what he said. A bigger amen. I think it is time for us to change our prayer points. I wish they mean what they said. We will assist them to carry out their mission. APC is now the problem of Nigeria. I mean, it's funny because the cleric literally says, you know what, if you had kidnapped the president and ELRUFAI and these ones, you know what, we would not even bother ourselves. But now leave the innocent citizens alone and go and focus on those that actually deserve it. And as crazy as it sounds, which of course it is crazy, there's some sort of truth to it, in the sense that, excuse me, listen, you are attacking innocent, armless Nigerians. What can they do? You're ruining their lives. In fact, go and ruin those that ruin the lives of others. It's as simple as that. But again, from the standpoint of you being the moral voice or stand in society by representing your religion, of course, it's very like, what did he just say? But again, I don't think it's what he said is what a lot of people would disagree with. In fact, everyone is saying amen. Amen. And even recommending more names. Someone recommended Femi Adesina as well. Amen. But what about Lai Mohammed? Wow. Please, no should be carried out away by this. If Buhari is being kidnapped today, the military will take over and hand over to the main terrorists and later Islamize Nigeria. I mean, that is where everyone's theories are going to, right? But you know what? Saying that being said, if this government had the opportunity to literally turn and flip things over and say, you know what, state of emergency, not even state of emergency, the military just even take over and slowly in a way to promote security and keep everything tight, it becomes a whole system of government. And it goes back to arguments that people have and saying, you know what, the 1999 constitution, was that a scam? Was that really a scam? Because if we were to talk about the difference in both, of course, yes, what the actions that are being that are taken by those in government is under the guise, well, let's not use the word guys, but really it is guys, but they're under the umbrella of democracy. So you can't necessarily argue and say it's the same as in the military era, or that extra freedom that comes with democracy as not with the military regime. So there are different arguments, right? But problem is, this leads to a whole conversation of Islamization, and that just, unfortunately or fortunately, until you have your facts and you have concrete evidence and not just a real conversation or alleged conversation, because again, until you can prove it, you can't solidify anything. It's just talks and just a mouth for now. But it is what it is. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.